This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotatonetwork.com.
Watching television, watching television. Watching television, watching television. I need all the image, I need all the sound. I know the info right into my mind.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Trial by Pilot. This is the show where we judge an entire series of television and the work of hundreds on one episode. I almost forgot what I was going to say.
I was like, do you need me to step in here?
I'm Bill Lynch.
I'm Elizabeth Lynch.
You guys should see the absolute shit show we're recording in right now.
Oh my God.
Our son's playroom is just covered in Christmas and birthday toys.
It's just like not been organized and like, it's just such a mess. And he doesn't know how to clean up anything.
No.
And if you say like clean something up, he whines. But then he'll finally go into the room to clean something up. But he just ends up playing.
He pulls out something new.
And I say, okay, why don't we do this? Well, no, but I'm still playing this. Like, you just started. Oh, my God. It's just...
Yeah,
doing my
anywho,
fucking self. Anyway.
we're doing a lightning episode.
Lightning round. Yeah. Those are really good sound effects.
Yeah, thanks. Oh gosh, that was...
It's like, what sound effects can I do with my mouth?
So we're talking about quite a few shows today. We're going to talk about Peacemaker. We're going to talk about Abbott Elementary, Single Drunk Female, and then finally The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. Yes, that's the name of the show. Mm-hmm. We moved to an every other week schedule for Trial by Pilot. We just don't have a lot of time to record, but apparently we still have plenty of time to watch TV. And there were
Two different things.
And there were a lot of pilots that we watched over the past couple weeks.
And you were away, right?
Yes, I was in Belgium and the Netherlands in January.
Right.
So we had to take a little hiatus there, but I'm back, baby.
All right, let's get into it.
So what do you want to start with? Abbott Elementary, that is on ABC and Hulu. Came out on December 7th, so we're a little bit behind on that one, but whatever. This was your pick.
Yeah, I had seen a couple people talking about this on Facebook, and one of the reasons I kind of like took notice is one of the people that I saw talking about it, they just wrote Abbott Elementary is real or something like that. And like they teach in a charter school, I think, in Philadelphia. And so I was like, oh, okay. That's interesting. I heard that, so I want to like see what this is about. And then I listened to Pop Culture Happy Hour, one of my favorite podcasts, and they were talking about it. And they are like, critics of stuff, but they loved this show. So I was like, I want to see what this is about.
Okay.
So that's why I suggested it. So what did you think of it? So basically it's like set in a, underfunded public elementary school in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So I'll just mention, we're not going to go through the plots of all of these pilots. That's another thing that takes a lot of time, which is why we're just doing a lightning round. I enjoyed it. I think it's a fun setting for like a mockumentary style show. Right. At the same time, I might be over mockumentary style shows.
Yeah.
They just... Listen, The Office and Parks and Rec were obviously like these like huge shows that are like regarded as some of the best sitcoms of all time, both in this style, but very different. And I feel like every mockumentary style show I've seen since then has, if not completely copied, like partly copied one of those two formats. Yeah. I mean, the entire thing just smelled of The Office.
But like The Office if Leslie Knope was in The Office.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The main character is Leslie Knope, like wide-eyed, like she just has to do good no matter what.
Yeah.
And then Jim comes in to her Pam/Leslie. I mean, like in the pilot episode, they were laying it on so thick.
Right.
And she's got a boyfriend who like doesn't hold up his end of the relationship. And,
Right.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So then she's like Pam/Anne.
yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's definitely, yes, I felt like it followed a certain formula there.
Yeah.
And,
Which, you know, is fine to an extent, but is all just, it just feels a little bit lazy. Like, can you come up with another idea for like a character's motivations?
yeah, so that was like one of the things that they said in the podcast I was listening to, like that this type of show can kind of feel like a crutch. And
Yes.
like I definitely see that. And there have been like so many like other shows, and we've like kind of moved away from that largely. And so like I feel like, I don't know, like maybe we're all like collectively over that.
Yeah.
However, there was still like a lot of fun and funny stuff in this show. Like I thought that aside from those things feeling a little tired and a little like formulaic, I thought it was like a really interesting setting to kind of, you know, talk about and
Do they
showcase.
Do they even say like why they're being filmed?
I don't remember.
I don't think they do. Like, it's
They
just,
may have briefly in the beginning. I just don't remember what it is.
you know, maybe.
I think the principal said something like, "I brought this film crew." Yeah, they did. They definitely did.
The
I brought this film
principal.
crew, and they're like, they're gonna make us look.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they said, but she was like all like proud of it, and they're like,
Yeah.
because they're gonna like because we have no money, and like they're gonna make us look bad or something like that.
So you're right. The principal said something, and it still felt like an afterthought. Like,
Right.
you know, this style of show is just like, well, people just know that this is a kind of show.
This is a kind of show. Yeah.
You don't need to have a reason for these people to be doing interviews constantly at their workplace.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It is a little bit weird. And I think that you could have this kind of show, like still like showcase this one specific, you know, school in Philadelphia, like a city school that needs funding, that, you know, the teachers are overworked, underpaid.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a good thing. You know, I'd rather see that than like everyone in Modern Family in their fucking mansions.
Sure.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like
no,
that.
yeah,
I'd
it's a
much
cool
rather
setting.
see.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it as a mockumentary, though.
Right.
You could just have these really endearing characters.
You can just write a regular sitcom.
Right. But anyway, I'm going to give it another shot. We've watched 2 so far.
Yeah, no, I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't like, whoa, this is like such an
Right.
innovative show. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it felt a little bit like a retread.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Let's move on to Single Drunk Female, also on ABC/Hulu. I guess Hulu just shows ABC shows now. I don't know. I can't
Is
keep
it
track of this
ABC?
shit. I thought so, yeah.
No, I thought it was like FX or something.
I mean, maybe it's all three.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? Freeform it is.
Was this like a 2-part premiere? And we watched the second part?
Possibly, yeah.
I think we watched the second episode, but I was like checked out because I did not really enjoy this one.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a potentially interesting concept for a show.
Yeah.
This, you know, woman in her late 20s clearly is an alcoholic and gets fired from her job and has to go to AA meetings. And it wasn't just executed in an interesting way. I didn't think any of the characters were that interesting.
Yeah.
What did you think?
So the trailer for this show looked so good, and like I felt like it seemed like a really, I don't know, there was something about the tone. I'm like, oh, this is like kind of like a serious topic, but they're gonna approach it in like a funny, like quirky way. But I found myself mostly bored.
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
And like I just felt like the main character, I get why she is like not super exciting, but there wasn't anything else. You know, Ali Sheedy as her mom, I thought was great. I mean, I love Ali Sheedy.
Sure.
I really think that she's just great in everything. But like everyone else was fine. Her friend was annoying.
Oh, yes.
I just hate when they have such an annoying friend. Why? Why do they have to be so over the top?
Yes. So we often praise shows that are like serious and really silly and like find that balance because it's hard to do. This show did not strike that balance.
No.
It was the serious topic and they tried to throw in this like very like slapstick, like ridiculous friend that was obnoxious, did not fit at all.
Yeah.
Then, like, you know, I think in the trailer, what you're talking about was like her behind the cereal boxes, like trying to sleep at work, and she gets caught. That's what I saw anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
I felt like it kind of, I mean, not just because of the setting, because she's working in like a store, but like I was like, oh, maybe this will feel kind of like Superstore, which I like.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen, I have not seen all of it. But there was something like tonally about that I thought was going to fit. And that does have some serious topics, but also like a crazy cast of characters that are like silly and goofy and just like kind of off the wall. But this didn't have that.
right.
I felt they could, but like their like crazy, goofy, off the wall character like wasn't very good at it. Like I didn't
Right.
find that character very interesting.
Yeah. And she was in it so briefly, like, you know, for a couple scenes, the friend we're talking about.
Yeah.
It just felt so out of place when she did show up because there were no other like goofy slapstick scenes or characters.
Yeah.
It was just like,
But she was like, she's the party girl and she like gets her friend to drink again.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I was disappointed. I really wanted to like it.
yeah.
But
Yeah, same thing. I from the trailer, I was like, okay, this looks like it could be funny with like a little bit of serious stuff thrown in there, maybe, but it didn't hit for me. Single drunk female.
Do not recommend.
Do not recommend. So you also watched recently Insecure, which is not a new show at all, but you binged like fucking 5 seasons in a day or something.
Shut up. It was over the course of a month.
I mean, can you speak at all to the pilot, or is that just like mixed in with
Oh my
everything
gosh.
else?
I barely remember the pilot at
Yeah.
this point. It's so funny because we were talking about which episodes we were going to do. He's like, well, what else did you watch recently? I was like, Insecure. He's like, yeah, do you want to talk about that? I'm like, it just ended. Like 5 seasons. He was like, what?
I knew that it wasn't a new show. I had no idea there were 5 seasons of it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we were busy when that came out.
Yeah.
Because our son was born.
Yeah.
But I did love it and I do recommend it. And
Yeah.
I'm really glad I watched it. Susan has been begging me to watch that show for years. But like we didn't have HBO and, you know, it just like wasn't like really on my radar. I really didn't know much about it. But I really like Issa Rae. And
What else has she done? Is she just like a writer?
I think she's a writer. Like, I honestly, like, don't know her from anything but this, but I think she's really funny. And so I saw her, I think she had, like, was, like, accepting an award. This is how I know Issa Rae. She was accepting an award, and she gave the funniest acceptance speech. And I just, like, the whole crowd was laughing. She, to me, like, I just thought she was so funny and so charming. And I was like, who is this? Like, I just really didn't know. Like, I don't know what else she's done.
It was an award for this show?
For this show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember what it was, but
Probably
I was like,
Kids' Choice Award or something?
yeah, this is definitely getting a Kids' Choice Award. Anyway, I just, like, found her. I was, like, very, just, like, so intrigued by her. And so I finally got a chance to watch it, and I really liked it. I mean, it had its issues. It wasn't perfect, but I liked it a lot. So
Rip it apart a little bit. What were the issues?
some of the characters I just didn't like, and like I didn't love where she ended up at the end necessarily.
Ah, okay.
Although I do think that like the ending was good. Like I thought it was a great like finale and a great final season. So that was like, it was satisfying mostly. And so I didn't really like the way Issa's character. She's Issa D in the show.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't really like where Issa ended
Makes
up
it a
in the
little bit
show.
easier on set
Right.
if you just have the same name.
If you have this- But yeah, the woman who played her best friend just like wasn't my favorite character overall, and I wasn't like in love with the performance either. So
Of her friend.
Yeah. And then Amanda Seales is also in that. She's been an actress forever, and she was really good, even though her character was like really annoying. You're supposed to, I think, like be a little bit annoyed by her all the time, but she is honestly, like in my opinion, the only other one who could hold a candle to Issa Rae, like acting wise on this show.
Oh, okay.
That was my opinion. So
Nice.
yeah.
I watched the pilot to Peacemaker, which is on HBO Max. I was going to try to have you watch this so we can do an episode just on this, but this is coming out like weeks after we're recording. And I was like, you know what? I'll just move on and I'll just watch it by myself. It is a spin-off series from the movie Suicide Squad.
Okay, never saw it.
Which is set in the DC universe. It's like a superhero movie, but kind of like a dark, funny one.
Okay.
Where they take like all these villains and like misfits that all have like, you know, some redeeming qualities, and they like put them on a task force to like go do all these crazy missions that will like probably end up killing them.
Got it. Okay.
Suicide Squad. They just did this movie a couple years ago with Will Smith, and it was not well received at all.
Oh, really?
But a lot of people like the idea, and Margot Robbie plays Harley Quinn, yeah. And she was apparently really good in it, and so they redid it like just a couple years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with James Gunn, who did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Okay,
and like
also part of the Marvel universe?
Guardians of the Galaxy is Marvel, this is DC. So totally separate characters and worlds.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm going into like all of the backstory of this. Just to like kind of set up the show. And the second movie was really good. Really, I didn't see the first one, but I saw the second one. And so one of the characters is Peacemaker, played by John Cena, ya boy.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. From like 20 years ago when I used to watch wrestling.
Ya boy. Oh my God, I have a funny story. He keeps saying that because I remember we used to watch wrestling together. I used to watch it with you.
Yeah.
And I remember very vividly the first time I saw John Cena. Because he was new. Like, it was the first time you had seen him, too.
Yeah.
He was, like, brand new. But I bright, like, Kelly Green little shorts. And I was like, who's that?
John Cena.
Anyway.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
How was it? He
The
plays Peacemaker?
He is Peacemaker, yeah.
Okay.
And so he's in the movie, and he is on the Suicide Squad, but is, like, kind of one of the villains of the movie. Like, he's not a good guy.
Okay.
And he like betrays someone at the end. So he's pretty much a bad guy. But then they did this spin-off series. And it's very good. It's very entertaining.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, John Cena is good in some parts. I mean, you know, he's not an actor.
Right.
But he's good in some parts. He is disgustingly jacked.
Really?
Disgustingly. I mean, there are scenes in him like just in his underwear, and his entire upper body and arms are just covered in like the thickest veins that look like they're all about to like pop. It's so
gross. Like, I wouldn't be turned on by him anymore.
I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff.
When have I ever been into like a veiny, muscly guy?
Hey.
No, not like I can see your veins through your skin.
Yeah, and I think John Cena is.
That's you.
Yeah. I think he's 44 and like his just. I don't know if he's had work done. I mean, I guess maybe just wrestling just ages you.
I'm sure. I'm interested to see what he looks like.
Anywho, this has absolutely nothing to do with the show. But it's good. There's like, it's mostly a comedy with like some dark stuff. And I've watched more than just the pilot now. I think I'm like 5 episodes in. And you know, they go into John Cena's, or they go into Peacemaker's backstory about his father. His father's like one of the characters in the show. And so you like do start to like find out like why he's such an absolute prick. I mean, like, he has not been totally redeemed yet, but like, you know, they're like moving in that direction.
Okay.
And like it's an ensemble cast with like other funny actors, and like a somewhat serious but somewhat silly overarching storyline. spoilers for Peacemaker. If I think it's like still ongoing. I think there's 8 episodes.
Oh, okay.
There are like aliens. It's an alien invasion, but the aliens are just like these weird looking butterfly things that like crawl into people and like take over their brains. And so like, politicians around the world are butterflies, quote unquote. And they have to like find out who's a butterfly.
There was another show about that.
Really?
Yes, I watched the entire. It was only 1 season, I think. Now I got to figure out what that was.
Yeah, but I mean, the show is just, there's some really good, clever writing in the show. Oh my God. Peacemaker has like a quasi sidekick called Vigilante.
Okay.
And Vigilante is just like this
They're terrible names.
They're supposed to be.
Okay.
Oh, it's absolutely tongue in cheek, like supposed to be stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, because they like name themselves. And
Okay.
Peacemaker's tagline is like, I love peace and I'll kill as many men, women, and children as I need to accomplish it. And so his like neighborhood friend or like some like kid down the block who like looked up the Peacemaker became a superhero too and calls himself Vigilante and it's like constantly calling Peacemaker to like try to hang out and like go on missions together, and Peacemaker wants nothing to do with him. But he is so fucking funny. I haven't read up much on the show, but I would not be surprised if people were praising this guy as like the breakout star. He's really, really entertaining.
As you were saying that, I was trying to Google which show had bugs crawl in your ears. Mm-hmm. But I shouldn't have said your ears, because the first thing that comes up is, what kind of bugs crawl in your ear? Cockroaches is the first thing it says. So, sorry. I should have done a trigger warning there. But I do want to find out what this was.
Oh, so Freddie Stroma is the guy that I'm talking about, the actor. And he was in Bridgerton, apparently?
Oh, really?
I don't know. That's one of his credits. He was also in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, A Cinderella Story from 2011. Some other stuff.
Oh, he was in Second Act with Jennifer Lopez. I saw that in the theater.
He was Prince Frederick in Bridgerton. 3 episodes. He was also Dickon Tarley in Game of Thrones.
Okay. Yeah. So the show I'm talking about is Brain Dead. It came out in 2016. It was only 1 season. So basically it was like, Laurel knows the U.S. governmental system has its issues, but when she starts her first job on Capitol Hill, she quickly learns that they're much further gone than she realized. Washington, D.C. has been invaded by aliens that have come to Earth and are dining on the brains of a growing number of congressmen and staffers, bringing operations to a standstill, and it's up to her to figure out what exactly is going on and stop it. Among those helping Laurel, Rochelle, a medical resident who lost her father to a mysterious infection, and Gareth, a Republican senator's smart and hardworking legislative director.
Did you say Rochelle? A young girl's journey from Milan to Minsk.
Milan to Minsk. I was trying to remember the Rochelle.
The Bette Midler.
Yeah, the Bette Midler one. We're in the Pinsk. It was a funny show, though. I'm trying to think of like compare it to something as far as like the whole like tone of it. What was it on? It was on CBS. I can't think of what you would compare it to, but it was really interesting. But it sounds a lot like that. You're saying that they were like butterflies crawling into like their brains, but this was more of like a little like beetle type of thing. But yeah, it was an alien.
Oh, there you
and
go.
so it was like all these like politicians like working, like they were all, I don't know. It was, and also it was like 2016. It was a good time for something like this where you're like, yeah, everyone in DC is fucking brain dead. It was like one of those things.
I'm just seeing a headline here. John Cena had no idea Freddie Stroma was British until they wrapped production.
I guess he is a good actor.
Yeah. So yeah, I highly recommend Peacemaker if you're into like that tone of show. Like if you like Guardians of the Galaxy or the Suicide Squad movies, James Gunn does it very well, obviously. Has like some serious underpinnings to it, but does not take itself too seriously at all. Very like clever dialogue, goofy characters. Peacemaker on HBO Max.
All right.
Finally, we watched the pilot to The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
Yes.
Now, I try to do my research for the podcast. I am constantly Googling like new shows, new premieres, pilots this month, particularly on Netflix, just because it's easily accessible.
Right.
And last night you pulled this up on your phone like, oh, this new Netflix show with Kristen Bell like just came out. And I had not heard a single peep about it.
Yeah, it was like a secret show. I just pulled up Netflix to put on Seinfeld like we normally do. And this was like up on like, the featured, like the first thing that I saw. And I was like, what the heck? Kristen Bell's in a new show? I didn't know anything about it. And it was such a crazy title.
Yeah. So,
it said it was like, thriller and also quirky. And like it had all these words that were like perfect for me. It's like whatever the algorithm is just like pulling my favorite words out or something.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's like spoofing those like thriller shows. The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
Right.
It's clearly like
the girl on the train.
Right. It's a spoof of that.
I didn't realize this was supposed to be a spoof. Like but I think that it is.
So
I just went to go, like, here's the thing. It's Netflix, so that means all of the episodes are out. So it's really hard to look up a show like that.
Yes.
Because I don't want to know anything about it. And there are things that felt, like, really creepy and, like, actually creepy.
Right.
Like, not like a spoof. The title, yes, feels very much like...
I mean, the title is so goofy, there's no way that was meant to be serious.
But, like, one of the headlines I just saw, it was like, oh, Kristen Bell, blah, 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 parody. And I'm like, is this a parody? Because I felt like they were doing a really good job of, like, keeping it kind of serious.
Well, here's my criticism. This is just based on the pilot. I don't think this show knows what it wants to be or knows what it is. Because
so?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was... I don't know, written or pitched as a spoof with this fucking title and some of the scenes, and then almost nowhere else in the show do you find any evidence of that. It's very strange. Like, the tone is just weird.
It is a very weird tone. That's what I like about it. I like that, like, little things are getting revealed to you as it goes on, and you realize so much of this is, like, in this woman's head, and it's like... I feel like it's just like peeling back layers as you go through it.
Okay.
But it is quirky and what's the right word I'm looking for? Absurd. It's absurd.
I just want people to know I just cut out literally minutes of Elizabeth trying to think of the word absurd.
He's not lying. I could not think of the word, but it feels like quirky and absurd. Like the guy with the mailbox, like the way what she keeps like cooking and bringing over. Like there are things that I really like it. It almost has like, I'm not really comparing this, but like the way that like Russian Doll had these things that like kept happening and like being like,
okay, yeah, I see
you know
that a
what I
little
mean?
bit. I mean, I don't think it was as well done as Russian Doll.
No, I'm not saying that. I don't mean to compare it in that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I see what you're saying. I see a little bit of evidence of that. I think you're giving it a little bit too much credit. Like, I don't think it was... It either wasn't that complex or, to me, didn't, like... It didn't deliver on some of the promises that I thought it was trying to make. I mean, maybe it will be revealed later on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's my issue. It was playing this game of like, you don't know what's real and what's in her head, which is fine. Like we find out right away that her daughter died 3 years ago and that she like had a vision of her. Like we see her daughter and the daughter's like, no, I can't do this because I'm dead. And then like she vanishes. Okay,
right.
Fine.
Spoiler, by the way.
Oh yeah, whatever.
I mean, for the first episode, but
yeah. This is coming out in like weeks. We don't have to worry about that. But then like, there's like this goofy shit about her like pouring her wine to like the absolute top of the glass, like to the rim of the glass, so it's like almost overflowing, and she like throws the cork into like a giant bowl of overflowing corks, and then she like slurps the wine, and like there's just silly stuff.
Okay.
And then there's all this stuff like you said, like she's having like visions of like a mailman fixing the mailbox, and like just weird stuff. I just couldn't connect to her character because I didn't know what was real and what was not, and I don't think they like handled the transitions that well between the tones of the show.
I did not interpret that as like, I didn't take those things as being overly goofy. Her doing that, I didn't think that was ridiculous.
That wine stuff was absolutely written as a joke.
Yeah, maybe a joke, but I felt like it was handled subtly. Like, I didn't think it was heavy-handed.
What? She
feel
is
like
constantly pouring herself. I'm talking like full, like spilling out of the glasses of wine.
Right.
And then she literally has to like lean down and slurp it like you're a kid, like slurping a cup.
Yeah, but
It was not subtle.
no, it wasn't subtle. Like, I get it. She's drinking a lot of wine, but it wasn't like...
But that's how I felt. Like, okay, I get it. She's drinking a lot of wine.
It wasn't like a sitcom. I didn't think so.
No, it wasn't like a sitcom. It was like a weird joke placed into the show in the middle of us finding out that like she has a dead daughter and her husband left her. That's what didn't quite like... Listen, I didn't like completely dislike the show. I just didn't think it all fit together the way I think that they probably wanted it to.
That just didn't bother me.
Okay.
I felt like it was fine because I was also expecting, like, especially after reading the description of it and of it saying that it's like this like quirky, absurdist thriller horror like mystery. Like, that just didn't bother me, where I was just like, okay, like she's not like totally serious, like I'm so depressed. She's also just like, maybe it's like sometimes like you do, like I catch you doing weird shit all the time and you don't think that I'm there. Okay?
Or I just don't care.
No, I did catch you doing something really weird recently when we were both working from home and you had no idea I was there. And then we both started laughing because I don't remember what it was.
I don't either.
But I thought you knew I was there and that you were doing it for my sake. But you had no idea I was there. Okay?
Yeah, that sounds
so
right.
I just feel like sometimes like we do goofy thing. I don't know. I just didn't think it was like so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like
don't know.
I have definitely like when I'm by myself like done like something where I would like laugh. Like I thought to myself like if somebody saw me do this would be ridiculous. I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just like defending it. I just don't think that.
I just don't know if I would have, if I didn't know anything about the show, watched the pilot, I don't think I would describe it as quirky. That carries a different connotation to me.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree. I'm not saying this was the best show ever. I just think the points you're making, like, I just don't. I just don't agree. I did
That's fine.
find things that were quirky.
Yeah, and there's also some other thing going on where there is something in her attic, whether it's, I mean, it must be real because we like see it or it moving without it being in her mind.
Yes. Yeah.
Like there's a scene early on where she like hears something in the attic and we see like the little pulley thing for the attic door swaying. But then later on, like after like the pilot's wrapping up, we just go to the attic and we see something. And she's narrating and she says something about like monsters.
Yeah.
So there's something in her attic.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just curious like what this show is going to end up being. And I am going to keep watching it because I'm definitely intrigued. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe it is the most ridiculous spoof. And, like, you're right about, like, how, like super, like, silly they were trying to make that. And, like, maybe. I'm just, like, I'm intrigued. Because I felt like, at least for the first episode, I didn't get the feeling that it was, like, parody.
See, that's the thing. I usually are like saying ridiculous spoof, but it didn't feel like a ridiculous spoof.
Yeah.
I felt like there was just like little elements of spoofing, but then they didn't take it far enough.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that you can. I don't know if you can like half-heartedly spoof something. I think you either make a spoof of it or you take it serious.
Yeah.
And this seemed to be trying to do both.
Well, it's interesting.
And it felt weird to me.
Because we only ever watched the pilot we only ever review the pilot.
Right.
So this might be one of those shows where like you really do need to watch more than just the pilot.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to because I'm curious.
I might watch another episode.
Like a half hour long.
Yeah, I might watch another one to see where it goes.
And I like Kristen Bell. And I loved her in The Good Place.
Yeah. Yeah, even if she is a Scientologist.
She's not a Scientologist.
I'm just saying that because our old co-host Casey isn't here to say it.
That's true.
Because he would say it every time.
He said
we
it
brought her
every
up.
time, but he was like, he's wrong.
Why do we talk about Kristen Bell so much?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Why
me
were we
neither.
talking about that?
I don't know.
Maybe when I guess when we watched The Good Place. That's probably why she came up.
I guess. Yeah, I guess Good Place was on when we were starting out the podcast, so we might have talked about it as like one of our favorite sitcoms back then.
Yeah.
And of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah, so don't watch this Netflix show. Go watch The Good Place instead. Yeah, I don't know if I would recommend this because I don't know what it is yet. I don't know what it wants to be.
It's hard to say yet.
Yeah, I'm curious now because I haven't.
But if you like Kristen Bell, I would say I recommend it.
I haven't like read anything up on this because I didn't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious now. Like,
I'm
what do other
afraid
people
if I
think
look
of
up
this show?
anything, it's going to be full of spoilers. So I
Yeah.
just want to finish it quickly.
I'm sure you will. All right. Anything else on any of these shows, Elizabeth?
No.
Join us next month, guys. It is our 4th year anniversary and 200th episode.
Yeah.
Wowza.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
We're going to pull out that wheel again. If
No,
you listen
we're not going to pull out the fucking wheel. If you miss the sound of a
of a boardwalk
wheel clacking, just you wait. All right.
Oh my gosh.
If you have suggestions on shows for us to watch, you can email us at trialbypilot@gmail.com. Please go on to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're all at Trial by Pilot on all those. And subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this. And tell some friends.
And thank you to the Beats for providing our theme music.
Thank you, Beats.
Bye.
Bye.